everyone, my name's Amanda from Amanda's Artsy Art, and today I'm going to be doing some drawing tutorials. So go ahead and whether you're using paper and pencil or if you're using digital, feel free to copy along with me. And I am going to start with super beginner basic. Let's start with a circle. Okay, nobody's circle is perfect, but it's a circle. Now we're going to take that, and I'm going to put on my pencil setting so that way it's a little bit more realistic. 2.0. There we go. That way it acts like a normal pencil. Now with shading, we got to decide where our light source is. So I'm going to say the light source is going to come from over here. Let's just draw a little light. And those show what directions the light rays are going. So it's going to hit this side very brightly. So that means this is our shadow side over here. Like that. Okay, so now that I've got that decided, it's time to decide either you're going to shape with something called stippling, which is where you do dots. The closer your dots are together, the more shaded it looks, which is hard to do with digital. So we're going to not do that. I'm not a stippler at all. That is not my way. There's hatching, which is what I tend to use, which is kind of just drawing your lines. And then you get darker and heavier as you go back. And bring it up light, lighter, 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 lighter. And that kind of makes the transition. So that's hatching. And then there's the crosshatch method, which is what I have a friend that really enjoys doing it, the crosshatch method. So the closer your lines are together, the darker it's going to look. And this also helps give your object some shape. So you're going to go along with the contour of it. And see how I'm kind of bringing those at a curve? That's so that way it looks more like a ball. Go with the curve of the object. Okay, and then you're going to have to add a shadow behind it. And a shadow for a circle is going to be oblong, dark. Now, one thing that people forget to do is this tidbit of light that reflects off the table underneath. So you're going to take an eraser and just kind of go right along there and leave that nice and light. Because your table's still going to bounce some light under here. See, we're going to say it's on a table. There we go. That's what the space is. It's on a table. Our texture seems to be, I don't know, I would say it's a smooth ball. But you can even give it hair or scales just by going off the shape of it. See, now it has some scales. And of course you'd shade under those. See the light's coming from a top here. So right here is going to hit light. But most of the scale probably isn't going to get much, so that way it gives it a rounded effect. You can give it fur. Or hair. And same with the shading, you just find where your light source is hitting it. But underneath is not going to have much light, so it's going to be darker. as it comes up through this strand, like that. Especially with it being the underside of the ball anyways. So that, my friends, is the first step, is just learning all your terms and how to use your lighting and how to make your shading give your object its texture and a little bit more realistic form to it. Okay, so this would be our highlight section right through here. We've got our lines through here. I would go through and, you know, fix that up a little bit, but right now it's just a rough sketch. First you start off with your gesture, which is like what this is. This is just a gesture saying that, yes, there's a flat surface here that it's sitting on, but it's not really defined or anything. And then from that on, you're going to want to put your outline, which is what this is. It's just kind of giving us an idea of where we want our shape to be. And then a rough sketch is what I've gone into here, is where you just kind of make it into a little bit more of a detailed work. And then we're going to do the line drawing, is which you would go over it and really set in what you want to do. You're going to get a liner or a pen or like a 0.5 marker maybe, and just kind of go around it. And see how it just kind of finalizes it a little bit more as you're making your line drawing. And I'm not going to do any of that because that all is extra. That's not our lines. Our lines are like these guys here. I apologize for not using the straight line tool. I do have one. I just don't much care for using it. I just rather draw my wonky lines. They're fun that way. Okay, and then after your line drawing is when you start to add your value. It's when you go in and you start putting your shadowing and your texturing. You can use marker. This one is good for it. Using your airbrush tool if you have that. See how it fades up into being your highlight up here. Just lightly touch it, and then you just get real thick under here where the shadow side hits it. Makes it look so easy, which is actually you can do it with the side of your pencil as well. Like if you take the tip of your pencil and just use this part here and just make that flat on your surface. That is going to give you this wider kind of soft look for blending. The harder you push, the darker it's going to be. And then you can start lightening it up as you go around. That is, again, one of the reasons I just absolutely love traditional media. I'm not a huge fan of digital art because I like using my pencils. I like using old-fashioned tools because that's what I learned on. Anyways, so for your highlighted part, you really don't have to, you really are not going to need to add any sort of color through there because that's where the light is the brightest. Okay. And then don't forget just the tidbit that reflects off the table under here. Because remember, this light is still coming down and bouncing off. So it's going to hit under here. So it's going to have a mild reflection under here. I wouldn't go quite as bright as I did there, but that was just showing you where the trail goes from the light going. So you have to put a little bit of that there with the shadow that's underneath. Let's change that back to black so I can put it in the shadow. Now if you're drawing a circle, you're going to want to do an oblong kind of oval shape because your shadow is going to stretch. And I'm going to erase this because it should not be that far over. It needs to be like, tone it back in. Keep it behind the ball there. Okay, so see how it's kind of in an oval shape underneath it? That's how you're gonna want it. All right, that was just a quick little beginner basic intro into drawing. You can also follow me on I have an Instagram and a Facebook you can follow me at and see more of my daily sketchings and random art stuff. Alright, thanks for watching. If you learned anything or just enjoyed the video, go ahead and give her a like. And if you'd like to learn more videos are on their way, so go ahead and subscribe and hit that bell notification so you don't miss it. This has been Amanda, and I'll be seeing you in the next video. Bye!